You know, this might be the most important part of this entire video.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got my friend and neighbor, Joe from the Okie Woodsman here on the property. And Joe has brought his new Splitfire log splitter.
So when Joe pulled his splitter over to my house, this happened.
On.
Oh.
What the heck?
So if you find that your engine is locked up after you transport it, in this video I'm going to show you some different ways to troubleshoot and things to check to hopefully get your splitter back up and running and get you back to splitting wood.
What could that be? It almost feels like it's got like too much compression or something.
That's kind of what it feels like. I kind of want to pull the spark plug out just to see if it will spin over.
What the heck?
That's different. Almost like, I wonder, you had the fuel shut off when you transported it, right?
I did not.
Sometimes that fuel, when you travel with them, you shut it off because that fuel can leak by and get into the cylinder, so it could almost be
Flooded?
hydrolocked or whatever, you know.
I had no clue.
So let me go get a ratchet and a spark plug tool, and let's pull this out and just see.
And just see what's happening.
Yeah, we might pull it over and gas go.
And gas go.
This is something about me not growing up on a farm and me growing up in the suburbs. I had no clue that I should probably read the manual that's inside this tube here. When you transport, you ought to shut off the fuel, we think.
I'm hoping that is the issue.
Yeah. It ran right before I brought it here.
That would make sense to me in my head just from the knowledge that I have, but we will see. See if you can go wrestle it.
Well, if once the spark plug's pulled out, does it look wet?
See that?
Yeah, it's pretty wet, isn't it?
Watch. Come right over here. I'll pull on it easy.
Yeah, video. This is a learning experience for all of us here.
I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see, but the spark plug's wet. He accidentally left the fuel valve on while transporting it, and a lot of times, from my experience, that's going to suck a lot of the fuel out. It's just going to drain right through the carburetor and fill up the cylinders. Gas can get past your piston rings, so the safest bet is to go ahead and change the oil, dry it all out, and then start over. Let's just see. The spark plug's wet. It's dried out, so.
There's two water bottles.
See that?
No, Homestead.
Oop. Watch your face.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna pull on it just a little bit, and it's gonna.
It's gonna.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Gas
sorry,
for
guys.
ya.
I'm gonna back you guys up just a little bit.
Holy cow.
It's
Do you
fine.
think once we do that, keep splashing it?
Better move this thing.
I better move myself.
Let's keep doing that.
This is gonna blow a bunch of it out. Whoop!
Watch out, guys.
Watch out! It's blowing gas 10 feet.
We should be able to see it in the oil, shouldn't you?
You can see it in oil.
I'm gonna
more so on a dipstick once everything's settled
let
and
me
not
see what
bounced
this
around.
looks like real quick. This is leaning that way, so
Do you
I don't
know
think I'll lose any oil.
how full it was?
It was full.
Was it? It's not in the screen right now.
It was in the screen.
Okay,
So it took a lot in. I don't feel like the oil smells like gas.
and it might be fine. The piston rings might be just fine enough that
Yeah, because
it's not an issue.
they might be sealed and new enough.
I've got my finger stuck in all the way. It's that far down. Yeah, right there.
You think that's a lot of fuel, isn't it?
It poured a lot through.
But I feel like if the crankcase took a whole bunch of gas in, wouldn't it almost be like overfilled?
Yeah, that's another indication.
Yeah, and
that-
it's
okay.
not. I mean, it's not running out. You want to feel it, smell it? It
Yeah,
smells like oil to
it
me.
smells like oil, doesn't it?
I don't smell any gas in there.
No.
I'll
It's
run it.
probably fine.
I'll run it. I'm gonna do an oil change here shortly anyway. I mean, no matter what, oil gets contaminated with fuel over time anyway, a little
It
bit.
does. It does.
So what I want to do is I want to run it, probably let it mix up, and then maybe check the oil one more time.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen how wet this was when I first pulled it out, and it's dried off. Let's let that sit for just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Air out.
I'll pull on it a
couple
little bit
more
more.
times.
Maybe I should turn off the fuel so it's not trying to pump anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Good job getting
You want to give it time for, like, see all the seals that up here that are wet, right up here by the exhaust.
Oh, because it can catch on fire?
You just want to give it a few. Gas will
I didn't even
evaporate.
think about that.
Just give it a few minutes.
Okay, don't be in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to
Teach me something.
teach.
This is,
something on-
you know, this might be the most important part of this entire video. See, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
Can you explain mechanically what's happening there?
So these aren't a fuel injected engine. This is a carbureted engine. A lot of times, older carburetors, older engines, even sometimes newer ones, there's floats and different stuff like that inside your carburetor that allow fuel to run from the tank. And when you're driving down the road, sometimes that stuff can move and bounce around and stuff like that. Essentially can run fuel down into your cylinder. Whereas if you have the fuel shut shut off, it's got no supply. So yes, essentially a little bit's going to be going through, but not several inches out of your fuel tank.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of gas in there. That's why when you tried to pull that over, to me, immediately I thought, okay, that almost seems like it's hydro-locked. It was full of gas. The cylinder's full of gas from the drive, just kind of went through the carburetor and filled up the cylinder. So
I had no clue. I'm so glad. You know, I'm glad this happened in this scenario because if I would have taken this to like to my dad's house or something, I wouldn't have known what happened. I mean, I think naturally I would have pulled the spark plug, but I probably would have gotten a face of fuel.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have known what the heck was going on.
Yeah, that's why I told us stand to the side and let's just watch. But I was confident. I've seen this kind of thing more than once. Yeah, there's quite a bit of fuel in it. The spark plug was wet as soon as we pulled it out.
A man with snap-on wrenches knows. I've got Cobalt, Husky, and Craftsman.
There's nothing wrong with it. I've spent way too many years and way too much money inside of a snap-on truck. But best thing to do is pull the plug out. Plug was wet, so that told me right then that okay, there's a lot of fuel in the cylinder. So basically what you want to do if you've gotten yourself in a predicament of a hydro lock, check the oil. If the oil is fuller than where it should be, more than likely you get gas contaminated into the oil, change your oil. Don't risk it. Pull the spark plug. This spark plug was wet immediately whenever I pulled it out, so I knew it was full of fuel. The spark plug's dry now. Did nothing to it besides just let it air dry, gas evaporates. We pulled on the recoil starter multiple times, shoved the fuel out. So now the valve cover, the muffler, all that stuff's kind of covered with fuel and fuel vapor. So we're just gonna give it several minutes just to evaporate off and go away before we try to start it. Obviously, muffler's hot. We don't wanna catch this whole thing on fire. Don't be in a hurry. You've got an issue, fix it. We're gonna be good here in a few minutes. The oil level's fine, just give it time.
Share your own experience in the comments. If you've ever done something like this or were around a situation like this, share your thoughts, experience, and stories down below.
Yeah, leave a comment. Let us know if you guys have ran into this kind of thing before. And also, this is a good spark plug. This is an NGK spark plug, good quality spark plug that Honda and a lot of other manufacturers use. The only thing I would do differently with this is steel. This cylinder head is aluminum. You really need to put some sort of anti-seize on the threads of these kind of spark plugs. Dissimilar metals corrode. Anti-seize will be your best friend. Year, 2 years, 3 years, whenever it is that you go to replace this won't be grown into the cylinder quite as much.
Do you do that on chainsaws too?
Yes, I put anti-seize on. If it moves dissimilar metals, it gets anti-seize. I've taken enough stuff apart. I've stripped enough heads out because spark plugs grown into it. Nobody used anti-seize on it before or anything like that. Just a little bit of that magic fluid will make your life, make your equipment last longer. It's just something you should do.
Man, oh man, that is awesome. From a mechanic's perspective.
Okay, so we took the spark plug, put a little bit of anti-seize on it. It doesn't take much. We got the spark plug put back in. Your spark plug doesn't need to be real tight. A lot of people over tighten spark plugs. I've removed a lot of spark plugs that have been over tightened over the years and the threads are gone. Yes, that can be fixed. You can helical it if you want. I don't recommend using a helical. Caterpillar makes a really strong type of helical. If we were to put that helical in this head, it would be 10 times stronger than the factory threads that are actually in it because it's a all steel insert and they work great. Don't over tighten your spark plug and use anti-seize and you won't have that issue to begin with. So on your spark plugs, the crush washer really is supposed to be used once. If you don't get crazy with tightening the spark plug, you can reuse it. It's not an issue. This has an NGK plug. They're a lot better quality anyways. Confident that this plug's gonna be just fine. If you ever see any black soot or anything like that around your plug, chances are your crush washer is not sealing like it should be, or the spark plug has gotten a little loose. So just check that out. Should be good to go.
Let me tell you, there is so much value in having lived a life around equipment and living rurally, because I had never transported a machine with a 4-stroke engine like that before, and I had no clue. I look like a fool, but I'm so glad I'm here with someone that knows what they're doing. I would have been kind of at a loss, and so thank you.
Well, no problem. You know now, if it happens again, you'll know exactly what to do. It really didn't take, it took me longer to go get the tools and stuff like that to fix it. Don't rush it, let it dry out. It's not a difficult or long process to do. Take the spark plug out, pull the recoil start a few times, blow the gas out of it, and just kind of let it dry. Let the muffler dry off, the valve cover dry back off, and spark plug, and put it back together, and you'll be good to go. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.